Right now, I think you just need to get back to the basics of what you know works for you. If it's open houses, go do 3 open houses every weekend. If it's dialing, then don't get off the phone all day long. Like the next 60 days, I think will determine your first quarter and second quarter of next year. And you can take massive market share because people are so scared, they don't know what to do. Like, just hone in on what you know works for you. Stop listening to these gurus and all this stuff that might be working for them. Get back to what works for you.
What happens to your real estate business when you actually recruit and grow your business the way that you should be? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Reside Platform Podcast. My name is Sunit Agarwal. I'll be your host today. And my guest is Tyler Blair. Tyler, how are you, bro?
I am wonderful.
So the legacy real estate team with EXP out of Arizona. How long you been in real estate for, Tyler?
Yeah, I got into real estate in 2015 is when I started to buy and sell. Before that, I was in property management for 2 years. So on the buy-sell side, this will be, next year will be 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. And when did you start the team?
Started the team in 2016.
Got it. So about 8 years.
Yeah.
And that was a fun 8 years. You saw the ups, you saw the downs, you saw the fun.
Yeah.
You saw all kinds of stuff happen.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. So when we met, what conference was that at? We met at like a Zillow conference or Inman or something.
Yeah.
And you walked up to me and you said, I want to be number one. And I'll never forget that because that was really bullish. I liked it. Like, I want to be number one. I was all right, cool. And then, so we've been working together on you really building your business. So when we met, you guys were killing it.
Yeah. We were running a great business. We had 30 or so agents at the time, like doing really well. It's just we were hitting a ceiling, and what we didn't know. So we needed to make sure we aligned with the right people. You being that one. So
John, right? And learning and getting in the environment, right? And Kevin and those guys too. You really are a student, and you actually implemented.
Yeah.
Without a lot of like, hey Tyler, you should do this. Oh yeah. It was all okay. So I actually did that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, what I found was, I could beat my head up against the wall and try to revamp and redo and try this new stuff. Or I find the people who are doing it at an incredible level and just do exactly what they say. And so that's what I've done. Like, and in the recruiting realm, like, I've honestly just implemented what you've taught me. So for me, it's just being a student of the game, because the game's constantly changing, as we found out the last several years. So
being a student of the game, we have a bunch of listeners, a bunch of viewers. What are some of the things that you did to really grow the business over the last, since you went from 30 agents to what do you have, 85 now or something, right?
Sitting at like 88 agents, right in that realm. We broke the infrastructure several times. So understanding that the infrastructure is going to break, you have to revamp, refix it, and then it's going to break at another level. I think I was like, hey, I fixed my training program. I'm never going to have to touch it again. Awesome. That's not the case. You're going to touch all of it several times. And so I think the hardest part for me was coming to the conclusion of, we're going to always be revamping. We're going to always be changing and adapting, because I think you have to right now. So I think just being a student of the change is what helped the last 2 years, really, 18 months or so, that we've been growing this thing pretty hardcore.
So what are some of the things that you did and had to break?
As far as recruiting, at first, it was just a matter of making sure our follow-up was great. And that was a big piece of it is, these people are coming in, but then what are we doing after the fact? Just like a lead. And so we weren't treating it like a lead at the beginning, and now we are, right? There's follow-up process. There's a phone call at the beginning, right? To verify, is this person someone we even want to bring into the office, right? Where at first we were bringing them in. Well, that takes up a lot of time. So now we vet them at the beginning. Are they worth bringing into the office? Awesome. Bring them into the office. Then it's another 45 minutes to an hour to see if they're even a good fit with the team. And so it was like those steps in the process to weed people out has helped a ton, because we didn't want to do the whole hire everybody. And you were never on that page either. So yeah, a little bit. But it was like,
I mean, I have said that from stage for like 10 years.
True. But it was like, it was interesting because we did it like slightly.
Sure.
We adjusted the standards a little bit because of the market.
Sure.
So I would say the follow-up system has been amazing, because treating it like a lead has been what's helped us convert more of those agents.
So something else I think is worth mentioning that you took action on really quickly was you hired somebody to run recruiting. How many agents were you at when you did that?
So the first recruiter we hired, and it was like 30. It was like 30 to 35 agents. We were right in there. And we hired the first recruiter, and we learned a lot. I mean, you were on that path with me, remember? So we learned a lot on that one, and we learned a lot of what not to do. But I will say, like, just diving in and doing it is what worked, because even though that first hire might not have been the perfect hire, we still hired some agents that we still have now. Like there was progress.
Well, you pivoted also fast.
Oh yeah, quick. Like once we hired a recruiter the first time, it was like, okay, I'm never going back to not having, and we don't call him a recruiter, we call him a talent director is what we call him. But anyway, so like now I will never not have one, because that ball has to continue to run.
Yeah, good. And what are some things that he does? Because dude, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, he's just so happy and go lucky. So it's like when he's
a unicorn.
Yeah, literally, like, and that's the thing. Like, but I had been working with him for a long time. He was an agent for us, and then he's like, "I love talking to agents." I'm like, most people don't, so that makes no sense to me. Would you want to talk to them every day?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, right. So I will say, defining that role of his job of he's talking to agents and he knows that, but he also loves it. He loves talking to them, helping them with their business, coaching them through it, because he knows our process works. So it's just a matter of vetting those people on the phone, and he's really, really good, because he's taking 30 minutes, 45 minutes before they ever come in.
Dude.
To know, like, because think about it. If all these people were coming in, his whole day is going to be spent in office with half of the wrong people. Because
Does he sell any houses anymore?
He does. He's got 5 pending right now.
Unicorn.
Yeah. So
we aren't going to say his name on this call because he'll start getting blown up.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's amazing. Right. So, but we just found the right person.
Yeah. After failing
miserably bad. Like,
I remember, dude. I remember walking in this backyard, probably on a Thursday or Tuesday, and talking about it, doing laps.
Exactly.
We were both doing laps.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I've just always had the ready, fire, aim kind of mentality, and that's worked. You know, like you have those people who want to know it all and figure it out all before, but a lot of times that never works. Everyone's figuring out as they go. They act like they have all this system and process, but like it's breaking constantly, right? So it's just a matter of figuring it out as you go, obviously with a plan. So
yeah, dude, that's great. You took the massive action right then, and you knew. And a lot of people don't for that position. Something else I think that you guys did really well was the pod leaders. Right? When did you start? Well, why don't you define what a pod leader is to you?
Yeah, so a pod leader is So, and when an agent comes on our team, they start with an onboarder, right? And so they're with that onboarder for our full 86-day training. It's literally 86 days. And then at that point, we decide, like, hey, are you a good fit or not? And then if they're a good fit, they go to a pod leader, right? And that pod leader's job is to literally just help them hit their goals. They get a percentage of every deal that agent closes from the team, not from the agent. But then they're literally there to answer their phone calls, help them write offers. Like, they're their confidant when I can't be, because we have so many agents. So we just make sure that they're always available. And their job is to help the agent put deals together and help them build their business.
Dude, love it. When did you start bringing pod leaders on?
So I brought Jerem on as a pod leader when I had 20 agents and I couldn't manage it anymore.
Okay, so was Jerem an agent then at that point?
Jerem was an agent.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, Jerem was the number one agent.
See, that's the thing too, is you guys there's the two of you who run the team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so you brought on Jerem as a pod leader, and then when did you bring on the rest of the pod leaders?
That was probably a year and a half later. So we did pod leaders, I want to say 2020.
Okay. Oh, dude, it was a long time ago, kind of, in like in the team space.
Yeah. 2020. And everyone was like, "Oh, sales manager, they can manage everybody." And I'm like, my whole
I was one of those people.
Well, but right at the end of the day, like, what works at the time, right?
Sure, no, and you're absolutely right.
So it was just like, I was looking at it like, okay, I want to help as many people as possible, and I know that I can't manage 50 people.
Yeah.
So when I bring someone in, give them a piece, and pour into them, so they pour into the agent. So that's what we're trying to accomplish as much as possible. Pour into the pod leaders to they need to pour into their agents.
Got it. Good. What are some other things that you did to grow the business outside of Recruit and actually hire a recruiter, and also hire pod leaders that allow you to scale and still provide value? What are some other things that you did that you think maybe the average team leader isn't even thinking about?
I think our biggest thing is our training platform. You can bring on 1 million agents, but if you can't train them, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you can have some of them make it, because there's dogs out in the world that will make it, right? But, the better your training platform is, the more of a likelihood of them making it. And that's our job, right? Like, they're signing on with us. They're agreeing to give their time, right? But they're also agreeing to follow our process. So, it's that training platform for us is huge. We call it the 86-day training. If you don't go through it, then you're 86th. That's literally what we tell people in the interview. Literally that exact thing.
So every single person that joins has to complete it.
Period.
Okay. Interesting. Some badass agent joins with a ton of experience.
So we have a 3-week training for someone like that.
Okay. Cool.
Right. So we have an experienced one and a non-experienced.
Perfect.
Because at first, yes, I was making those experienced agents go through it and send me offers, and I was viewing them. Like, then it was like, okay, like, I don't need to view your offers. You've closed 200 transactions. Yeah. But they did it, right? They saw value. They did it. Because on another thing on our team, like, if you have a big ego, I'm sorry, we probably won't work together well. Like, I just don't want to work with a douchebag. I don't want to work with a person that's rude. And quite frankly, we don't have to. So, but that training platform for us, dude, everything. So if you're a team leader out there that doesn't have a training platform, but you're hiring agents, I would spend the nights and the weekends that we did. Literally, it was nights and weekends. We got into a room and hammered it out. But I will tell you, that has been by far the best thing that we've done.
So is it live or is it recorded or both?
It's recorded. Well, there's both, right? Like, hey, go meet with this person and report back. And then there's quizzes in there. There's tests. There's videos. Hey, did you watch this video? Send the email, report back. Like.
That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar a little bit.
It's called Train You All. It sounds familiar. You're the best.
Yeah, and that works.
It
And
does.
there's accountability built in, and that's really scalable. And you
Yeah.
have the pod leaders, and pod leaders will work with the newly licensed person as well as the mentor, right?
Yeah. And as a pod leader, right, they're like multifaceted. Like they can, as they should be able to adapt their personality to fit any agent.
Sure. Is the pod leader in production as well,
Yes.
taking leads?
Well, some of them, like some of them are just sphere. Like some of them I'll just
Sure.
close my
Like,
sphere, right?
yeah.
But
So,
at a point, I was all about like, no, they shouldn't be in production. I shouldn't be in production. You know, Steven shouldn't be in production. And I'm
that
like,
ain't realistic. Yeah.
no, like this whole seventh level, all that. No, come on.
Yeah.
You have to be in your business.
No, yeah, that's the thing. I
Yeah.
mean, except for me, but yeah, but
Yeah.
everybody
Good for you. You've got it all figured out perfectly. It's great.
no, I don't. I'm learning every day, but it's, but I coach full time,
Correct.
right? So, I mean,
Yep. Yeah, you've had those leverage pieces in place, people you trust, or it
yeah,
wouldn't work.
yeah. And I mean, like,
Probably cost you more than it normally would to have those better people in place.
yeah, it does. Right.
Yep.
And yeah. And, that's something that we talk about is, can we leave and the business run itself?
I mean, that was
And
something you asked me on my cruise, remember?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I locked up a few. I didn't touch the team at all. And you're like, that's a win. And
that's
I
a
didn't even
win,
think of
dude.
it. I didn't even think of it. You're like, how much time did you spend on the team? And I was like, honestly, none. And he was like, you were like, you were like, that's a huge win. It helped me see that small win that actually was a big one.
Big win, dude. Because last week when I was on my cruise, the only time that I reached out was when I got an email from my Zillow rep, and I was all, "We check. How are the data? What's the data
Yeah, what's
right
going
now?"
on with this? Exactly. What's the data back?
Yeah,
Love
but
it.
that's it, and that's a huge win.
Yeah, exactly.
Because has it always been like that for you, even with these leverage pieces?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. There
Oh,
was a point where it was like I was, even if I was out of town, I was still on the phone, and I will say some point I probably didn't have to. I still had the right people in place, but I wasn't ready to let go of that control yet. So, but at the beginning, no way, man. No way.
yeah. No way. It's
No way.
terrifying. It's the scariest thing ever.
Yeah,
Right, dude. I
absolutely.
remember like when my team was so young, and I got this listing, and this guy just joined my team, and he was going to do an open house on my listing, and the seller called me at the time of the open house and said the dude isn't here, and he didn't get there till like an hour later, and they literally like the second week of my team being in existence. And I
Yeah.
remember talking to my coach on the time and saying, wow, dude,
Yeah,
wow,
what do I do? This is
what do I
crazy.
do? Right. And that was just the first thing. I think about that all the time. It was at a Mexican restaurant. So
Wow.
production, Tyler, do you sell houses?
I do.
Oh,
I
and
know.
how many agents are on your team?
88.
88. And how many pending do you personally have?
Um, I had 7 last week,
Ooh,
and
7? That's
yeah,
more than last time we talked.
I'm down to 1 now, so it's manageable now, which is good.
Yeah. So you're still in production, even with a big
Yeah,
old team.
yeah.
Was there,
Go ahead.
how long did you try to not be in production for?
About a year.
And what happened?
I lost touch. You
Big time,
know,
right?
big time, and I don't want to say I lost my fire because I had passion still, but it was like, man, when you help a buyer or seller, just remind you why you got into this
Yes.
business.
It's
And then you have
fulfilling.
all these issues and all these problems, and you're like, 5 years ago, you would have choked yourself out to be in this position. Like you
Yes.
would have stabbed somebody several times to jump into the position you're in now, but now we're complaining about it. So I found that closing on a house with a buyer or a seller, yeah, you might. I don't go on showings and that kind of stuff, right? Like I don't have to, but that helped me fuel my fire even more about us doing what we do. So that's helped a ton, ton.
Good, dude. Good. So for the agents out there that are listening to this conversation, what advice do you have for them?
Yeah. Right now, I think you just need to get back to the basics of what you know works for you. If it's open houses, go do 3 open houses every weekend. If it's dialing, then don't get off the phone all day long. Like the next 60 days, I think will determine your first quarter and second quarter of next year. And you can take massive market share because people are so scared, they don't know what to do. Like just hone in on what you know works for you. Stop listening to these gurus and all this stuff that might be working for them. Get back to what works for you. That's my advice.
And how about for the team leaders out there who are listening, who want to have similar growth?
Get into your agents' brains and help them. They're lost right now. They're listening to TikTok and Instagram and all these people who have no idea how to sell real estate. They want to do farming. They want to do all of these things that they think is easy, but really you just have to hone them in on how many people are they talking to, how long are those conversations, and are they doing it enough? Like it's literally that simple, getting back to the basics of what we do. So I just, it's the same for both, just two different things you're looking at, I think.
Dude, so good. If somebody wants to reach out to you, talk to you about anything you got going on, or maybe send you a referral, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah. My Instagram is the Tyler Blair, or I'll just throw out my phone number, 480-291-4478.
Any speaking gigs coming up? If people can see you somewhere?
Yeah. I actually am doing it's actually November because Callie's having a baby in October.
Oh, yeah.
So
You're about to have another kid.
I think the third week of November is my next one. And then next year we're going to be doing a lot because I love it. So
yeah. So you guys go check out Tyler on Instagram. He posts a lot of good stuff. Great guy, great businessman, great family guy, great friend, great style. He got cooler shirts than me every time. I always say I love those shirts. Yeah. So I hope all you listeners and viewers got something out of today's episode. I always learn from Tyler working with him. If you did, please share with a friend. We don't run any ads on the Reside Platform podcast. So please share with a friend and spread the word, especially if you got some value. And besides that, we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Reside Platform podcast. Peace.
Thank you.